going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Alrighty, so before we get into the video, I just want to come on here and say this immediately. So, play stupid games, win stupid prizes, okay? What I mean by that is, if you don't follow me on Instagram, if you couldn't tell by the title, the car got away from me, okay? Happens to the best of us. It is what it is, okay? So, just to give a little rundown, so, went out that night to Mexico, you know, we're gonna go have some fun, right? The car, I did change the rear tires on it. They were the Firehawk Indy 500s, you know, better tread wear, stuff like that as far as traction. Compound the tires better, a little wider than stock. You know, I wasn't expecting a complete difference like a drag radial or a slick would, but I expected, you know, a little bit more performance, and it showed. Even because when I first got the tires, I went and tested, you know what I mean? First gear hit, second gear hit, stuff like that. You know, making it do when I would expect it to spin. And it showed improvement. You know, it wasn't a crazy difference, but I was like, okay, it's hooking. It still would spin a little bit, but minimal, very minimal. So going into that night, yes, I had some confidence, as you're going to be able to tell in the video. But again, I didn't take into factor of the weather change, because when I tested, it was a little warmer, and then two, the service we were on was not the greatest. You know what I mean? Again, it is what it is. Biggest thing is when we know what we're doing, man, so it's expected. You know, don't use a time like this to quit or give up on what you love doing, you know what I mean? Because I felt myself getting to that point, you know, the night of and the next day, but at the same time, you know, why? Like, especially with how much I love doing what I do, you know, I'm pretty sure you guys can relate that are watching. You know, again, it happens. Use it as motivation, you know, take the L, rebuild, and come back better and smarter. You know what I mean? So again, it happens to the best of us. But so what happened is, went out there, first run of the night, you know, I did my burnout, you know, before, got the tires warm. I even had lowered the tire pressure before we even left the spot, and went, lined up. As soon as we said go, we punched it, and it hooked. Normally, when I expect it to spin, with the minimal miles that I've done to it, is on, you know, the lower mile an hour runs. So I think it was like a 40, 50 maybe. Punched it, car hooked. So I was like, okay, we're good for the most part. So we go, 2-3 shifts coming, make the shift, and it didn't spike the RPMs, but I could tell it wasn't hooking immediately because I wasn't moving. But, you know, I kept it forward, okay? But I was still like, okay, it's spinning, but it's not bad yet because it wasn't wicked yet. But as soon as I felt it move, I said, okay. I felt it, rode it a little bit, but with how much it was going, I said, okay, it's probably gonna be time to lift. But I still, you know, check the correction, because the moment you panic, that's when the bad things happen. So I didn't panic. I corrected it and didn't overcorrect. I watched the videos a numerous amount of times, thinking it was an error on me as far as the driving aspect to try to save it, but still, even then, I didn't overcorrect. I corrected as much as I could. And comment down below if you think I overcorrected. You know, I may have. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But again, as soon as we started moving, you know, I went to correct, but then it kept going, and I seen I was getting a little close to who I was running. So I said, okay, yeah, no. So I got on the brakes a little bit. I came off the gas. It was still spinning. Went to get on the brakes, but as soon as it literally happened like this, like quick. That's really what did it too. And I think it was the IRS too, because as soon as they feel one way, it's gonna plant and go the other way. For you IRS guys know, you know what I mean. Again, I could be wrong. Comment down below how you feel about IRS suspensions. But it went one way, and as soon as I felt of how fast it was transitioning, I knew right then. I said, okay, yeah, we're going for a ride, okay? So, and that's what happened. You're gonna see it, but it was quick, and I did all I could and went for a ride. You know what I mean? The only thing that I was praying about, because of how fast we were going and what it looked like of where I was headed, I puckered up a little bit. You know, again, it is what it is. Only thing I didn't hope or want to happen, that I prayed about: don't flip. Don't flip. You know what I mean? I'd rather take some damage than a total car. And of course, too, I still want to be here with you guys. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. So again, happens to the best of us. You live and you learn. When I say you play stupid games, win stupid prizes, get a better tire. Go out. You know what we're doing. Be more prepared, as a lot of people would say. Be more prepared. Be smarter about it. Still go out and have fun. Of course, you be prepared. You know what I mean? So let's get into the video. Again, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Like when I post, turn on post notifications, and let me know what you guys think. All right, let's get into it. What it is, y'all. Welcome back to the channel. As you can see, we got the GoPro, the new one mounted. Tonight's gonna be a good night. Gonna go out, get some runs in Mexico. You know, our passports stay ready. And we finally got some new little meats for the street tires. So hopefully we can get a little bit better traction. And if you can't tell, something's missing. So I did go ahead and dump the car right underneath the axle. And sounds pretty good. I ain't gonna even lie to you. Sounds real good. But we're gonna get on this road. Got a little bit of a drive. I wanna say I've been here before. I ain't close the garage, gonna steal all my little stuff. Got a new camera, don't you know how to act. But now, so we're gonna, I wanna say I've been to this meet before. I'm not too sure. Well, not this meet, but this spot. When I looked up the address and stuff like that, it looks sort of familiar, but then again, I don't know. We're gonna see. I think if it's a spot I think it is, I'm pretty sure I've been there before. I've been there once, and it's a pretty good spot. I'm not gonna lie to you. As far as like the route and everything like that, I really don't remember it. I want to say actually I did pull up to this meet before at this spot, but I didn't get any runs. Hey man, open the little gate. Alright, there it is. But yeah, I want to say I've been to this spot before. I just never went and got any runs, so I honestly don't even know what the route is. So excuse me, Jesus. We're gonna see what it's about and go from there. Oh man. And again, man, if you like my videos, you want to keep seeing them, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. Anytime you want to know when I post, turn on the post notifications. You know, if I never talked about the exhaust setup, all it is, it's, you know, pretty much stock exhaust, you know, stock for the most part. And what I mean by that is it does have a cat delete, and it's got an X pipe in place of the resonator. And before, I had the MagnaFlow 3-inch bullets in the back, you know, with some regular, I think they were 4-inch tips or 4.5-inch tips. I don't know what size they were, but it sounded pretty good for, you know, stock headers and stuff like that. You know, just an X pipe and mufflers, it sounded really good. But you know, with dumps, it's weight reduction. You know, it's not a ton of weight, but you know, anything kind of helps depending on what your goals are with the car. I'm just really testing it out. The mufflers that are on here, they look almost like the Cook's resonators. I'm not too sure what the brands are, but I went and got it done at Aces. They hooked it up, and pretty much it's, you know, the bullets side by side, and it's dumped right at the rear end, and it's not really that bad. Like, it sounds pretty good to me still. It is loud. It's gonna be louder now too, more so because I do have the rear seats out. You know, obviously for the Mexico night, I wasn't gonna take the passenger seat out, but I didn't feel like doing all that, and it is cold, so I wasn't trying to freeze. But yeah, so far the view actually looks pretty cool. Got the little phone that, you know, enables a preview, you know what I'm saying, so you can see pretty dope. Gotta have a Red Bull, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be a long night, so gotta be ready, you know what I'm saying? Actually, let's go ahead and pop that open. Ooh. Yeah, that's good right there. Yeah, man, so I know it's been a little minute since I uploaded a video. I was actually, you know, starting off the new year with a bunch of changes. First one being, you know, I moved apartments, still in the same complex, just moved to a different kind of apartment. And then at the same time, I had moved positions at work, so I got a promotion. And I really just been trying to just stay focused on that, you know, make sure my mind's right, learn a position, stuff like that, and just get, you know, acclimated with everything, and make sure I'm doing my job right before I start just trying to put too much in on my, you know, plate as far as my agenda and stuff like that. So I feel like now, you know, things are going pretty smooth. You know, I don't have to worry about, you know, going over stuff, trying to learn more information about the job and trying to stay focused, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like I got a grasp of everything, so everything's pretty good now, and we can get back to it. So uh-oh, I ain't putting him in sport mode. Now we good. And what's crazy, man, when I first got this car, I started messing with the different modes. You know, everybody was saying like drag mode was the go-to mode when it came to like, oh, it's the least amount of clutch protection, you know, the car runs at its best in drag mode and stuff like that. But playing with it and seeing a couple of other cars, videos, stuff like that, sport mode is honestly the go-to when it comes to racing. And it's just me, it could be, you know, different. It's just how I feel. But sport mode, you know, obviously you get the quick throttle response, stuff like that. But again, to me, I feel that, you know, the clutch protection is very minimal in sport mode. Could be wrong, but at least to me that's how it feels, you know what I mean? And I mean, I've had runs in both drag mode and sport mode, and it's not too crazy of a difference. If anything, like I said, again, to me, I just feel like the car runs better in sport mode. But, you know, to each their own, you know what I mean? If you like drag mode, cool, man. If you like sport mode, it is what it is. Hey, if you in normal mode and you out here cooking, folks, even better, you know? Hey, ooh, we the judge, you know what I mean? But, yeah, we got a long drive ahead of us, people. It's 41 minutes. So once we get there, we're gonna hop back on the video and, you know, take a look around, see what's all there. I heard it's supposed to be, you know, a lot of nice builds and stuff like that, so should be a good night overall, you know what I mean? I don't have to worry about traction, you know what I mean? We got so the tires that I did put on the stock wheels, they are the Firehawk Indy 500s that are from Firestone, and it's a 275/40/18. The reason why I went with that tire is because it's still very street friendly, but at the same time, as far as traction, it's a pretty big improvement. I've already done pulls and tested it out, even with like from first gear, and it still spins a little bit, you know what I mean? But at the same time, you know, once the tires are warmed up, there's a pretty big noticeable difference as far as traction. And then at the same time too, if it rains, you know, I don't have to worry about, you know, spinning out, hydroplaning, anything like that, or, you know, when you up to speed, you know, you get that little wave feeling in the back, you know, no, it's none of that. And then the two, so the stock tire size is a 255/45/18. So with this being a 275/40/18, it's not a huge difference. It's like, you know, downsizing the tire, but at the same time, if you don't know, pretty much all of the base model S650s come with 355 gears. And I like them, don't get me wrong, but I've come from 373s. I like, you know, shorter gear ratios, just for the simple fact that you can just stay in the power band longer. I mean, not to say longer, but you know, when you go to shift and the RPMs drop, you're still pretty much up there, rather than, you know, you having like 331s or in this case 355s. You're gonna fall, your RPM is gonna drop more than, you know, what you would like, at least for what I can say what I would like. They drop a little further. So what the 275/40 is gonna do is gonna keep it to where it's basically gonna up the gear ratio in a sense. Like instead of, I ran it on the gear ratio calculator, and I want to say it bumps it up to like a, I can't even say, like it's nowhere near like a 373 obviously, but it goes up to like a 360 something. Like obviously that's not an actual gear ratio, but that's pretty much what it acts like in a sense. So tonight's gonna be actually the night to see, like, okay, you know, does the car like the shorter tire? Does it not like it? And stuff like that. Because from what I've known, obviously a shorter tire with a gear with, I mean, a car with shorter gears, it's not that beneficial. You know, you're gonna have, you know, your low end's gonna be there. It's gonna, you know, get off the line quick, and you know, your low rolls, your lower mile an hour, it's gonna move. But once you get higher up in the mile an hour, it's gonna start laying over. Compared to like if I was to have a taller tire, like if I would have kept the, you know, say if I had a 275 45 or 275 50 18, like yeah, my low end probably, it won't be as, you know, snappy, and you know, it won't get up in the mile an hour as fast. But then when it comes to top end, that's when the taller tire starts to eat. So again, we're all, you know, all I'm doing is experiment, see how things work. Really, at the end of the day, I just wanted more traction because those 255s, kind of was a good brand. I ain't talking down on them. It's just they weren't hooking. It wasn't. And for a car like this with simple modifications, as far as literally just a Cat Elite tuning 85, it was spinning way too much, and I didn't like that. So again, we're gonna see what's going on tonight. It's gonna be a good night. It's always gonna be a good night in my head. You know what I mean? Try not to be negative or anything like that, because you know I do find myself getting a little nervous sometimes, but it is what it is. As long as you speak things into existence, you know, we're gonna have a good night, we're gonna have fun. It is what it is. We're gonna make it back home. That's what it's about. And again, it's gonna be all about the fun at the end of the day. So, like I said, we're gonna get on this long drive. Well, we're already on it, and as soon as we get close, at least I'll jump back in the video and we'll check it out. Made it to the meet. Got the S650 out here. Got the Scat with the high ram on it. Okay. Another S650. They're very hard, I ain't gonna lie to you. The Weld Lagunas. Got ears. Try to get a run in with that man right there. It's another manual, same mod from my Cat Elite 85 tune, S650. Little Gen 3 action. Another S550. Why is this dude here? He's boosted. A couple of cars back here. It's the Gen 1 I ran last time. It's my boy right here. Another full bolt on 85 Gen 1, tuned by PVP. Oh, there it is. Yeah, you see it. I ain't never seen this car before. Bet that thing been moving. Little ZL1. Okay. Sheesh. He locked up. Oh, that boy done cut the diffuser. Sheesh. Trying to be fast like y'all boys, man. Cut the diffuser very well. 15s in the front with the little camera. Okay, Gen 3. That's 550. Hey, this thing kind of clean. I ain't gonna hold you. This thing clean, wasn't it? Boy, I wish I'd have got black sometimes. It's way hard, don't get me wrong, but I don't hit like black. The Gen 3. Another S650. It's pretty good cars out here. T6. Oh, bags? So you take that clean, bro. Felix in the back, Wells in the front. the man himself. Howdy. Oh. Crazy. Goodness gracious, boy. That sounds crazy. 300 surging like that is wild. Yeah. Boy, Phil just pulled up. His S650. This is the grill I want. The fact that they're open, all the airflow. The doors don't fit, so heat locks on it. Sheesh.
And it's like it's stupid night or what? Like carbon
This
shit.
bill is crazy, bro.
You might have been like feeling at a seat.
Like if I had the money, I'm gonna say win. The car's probably gonna look real similar to this right here. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Real similar. When I get back. Pay attention.
Front spotters now in the rear. They're now in the rear, behind the light. We're looking all good back here.
So as you can see, went for a ride, fellas. Went for a ride. It was sketchy. You know what I mean? I got to replace the driver's seat for sure because it got ruined during that ride. You know what I mean? But yeah. So literally, if whatever it was that I went over in the field was not there, it probably wouldn't have been that bad. Like I probably would have just slid until it came to a stop and I had to just drive up out of there. But whatever that was that made that horrendous sound, yeah. And at that point, I said, oh yeah, something broke. Something's broke. Yeah. But got out real quick, look. No wheels were laying over or broken off. No body panels were destroyed. Anything like that. Okay, so got back in the car. Got out the ditch. Drove it back to the spot. Chilling at like 50, got there, really looked at the car, and from what I could see, there was no lights on, the car drove fine. I said, okay, it's good enough to make it home, and I did. Again, you heard in the video, that was like a 45-minute drive, so made it home. I was even chilling. At first, I was a little worried, like, okay, I'm gonna do 50, but then hey, we're already here, so I did 60, did 70. Steering wheel a little crooked, you know, heard some noises, but it wasn't like wobbling or anything like that, not making no crazy noise where I was like, okay, yeah, I should get it towed. No, I was like, hey, we just gotta get home, okay? So, yeah, man, that was that, you know what I mean? Cop did show up. Guy was real cool about it, though. He was just saying, he had cars, too. He knows, he's been there, done that. He wasn't stupid, you know what I mean? He knew what we were out there doing. And pretty much said, hey, look, leave. Or you gonna leave all right, but you ain't gonna go home if you stay. You know what I mean? So other than that, man, that's it. You know, I'm not afraid to show mess ups like that. You know what I mean? It happens again. You know what I mean? It happens to a numerous amount of us. I just want it to be known and let it feel normal. Like it's okay. You know what I mean? It's okay. Things happen. You know, learn from it. Again, learn from it. And make the best of that situation. Like, hey, I'm still here. Car's not total. Stuff like that. And move on, man. You know what I'm saying? Hey, if that's your stopping point, cool. It doesn't even have to stop all the way. Hey, just don't partake in activities like that no more. But don't let it get you out of the car scene. Don't let you get you getting out of your hobby. You know what I mean? So let me know down in the comments what you guys think of how you felt about the video, how you felt about the incident, and what you guys want to see. Alrighty, so again, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. If you like what you see, turn on the post notifications, and we'll see you in the next one.